Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. What a better way to start into the new week, at least for me, as with the new Israeli top end of the line main battle tank, the Merkava Mark IV-M. And in this first impression, I'll talk about the basic layouts of what to expect from this tank. It's not a real in-depth review, but we have other stuff to review in this patch. If you want to see this, let me know in the comment section what you want to see. Now, this is very similar to its predecessor, the Merkava Mark IV-B. Both are battle rating 11.0 and both are the only two rank 7 Israeli tanks right now. Now, Merkava Mark IV-M, what to expect from this tank? Is it the new super weapon in the game? Is it really worth the excessive grind? And is it just unbeatable and an auto-win tank? Not really. Is it in any way, shape or form bad? Also, not really. To be brutally honest, we have seen tanks like this for quite a while. It has all that a modern main battle tank needs to have. Nasty cannon, trolley armor, and decent mobility. Together with obviously a laser rangefinder, lots of machine guns, and yeah, everything that you basically need. But we really have to talk about the fact that this is one of many Western MBT style tanks in the game. There are tanks that can do certain aspects obviously better, but there are also tanks that do not have the full package like this tank does have it. And I think that is the nice thing about the Merkava. And this is the first Merkava that I played for more than two matches that gave me the feeling of protection. Not at close quarters, but at longer ranges, it is one hell of a tank to dig out. The last replay or the last recorded game will show this. So, in its details, in its basic, let's talk about this one by one. The tank has a good combination of mobility, armor, and firepower. It is equipped with a 120mm IMI MG251 cannon with an overall ammunition capacity of 46 rounds. Then we have a lot of smoke rounds. We have then also a heavy machine gun that's fixed mounted, basically coaxial with the main gun, and two additional 7.62mm machine guns that have a bit more movement, freedom of movement. Then we have the gun depression is only -7 degrees, like the Type 10, but therefore 20 degrees of gun elevation, which is the golden basic standard. So there is nothing wrong with this, but we get further and we have to see that the tank reloads at best with 6.7 seconds with an absolute trained gold crew. That's not bad, to be honest, but a lot of tanks have 6.5 with autoloaders. Look at the Russian tanks. We have also tanks that have 6 or 5 seconds, some even with autoloaders 4-second reload. So not really the very best, but still more than usable. Then we have also in the soft stats a 34 degrees per second turret rotation speed. Now, I'm kind of used at this battle rating to 40 degrees, but again, it's not really that far off. The gun elevation speed, on the other hand, with 15 degrees per second, you know, can let you down. So, you're not best in class in any of those stats, but you're not outstandingly bad so that you're unusable. If you're not really paying too much attention and you plan your ambushes carefully, you probably wouldn't have a real problem with it. So nothing wrong with that. Then we have to talk about the mobility. For a 65.0-ton tank, we have a whopping 1,500 horsepower and a top speed both forward and in reverse of 64 kilometers per hour. The horsepower to ton ratio is just above 23 horsepower per ton, and so you have a decent speed. Now, what really is nice in a lot of situations is the reverse speed. Now that is really making the tank a bit more alive. That really sets it apart from a lot of other tanks, and especially the Soviet slash Russian main battle tank line together with the Chinese one, which have appalling reverse speed. So nothing wrong with that. So now let's talk about the armor. And the armor is a little bit of a mixed bag. So the tank looks big with this really tall and even broader turret, and the Merkava is somewhat known for the survivability it gives to its crew. That is correct, but in War Thunder not all those things are an advantage, because how it actually plays out. The hull is rather soft, especially the lower glacis, and you face the very best of the War Thunder main battle tanks, and they all shoot APFSDs, and that will go right through the lower glacis. The transmission and the engine will kill the crew, and still has a lot of kinetic energy left, if it's properly aimed, that is, to hit the ammo in the back of the hull and will ignite it, and so you can get one shot. In practice, however, people are more busy trying to shoot up your gun breech or your turret ring. And yeah, this is also, just like with a lot of the Soviet/Russian main battle tanks, also a big weak spot of this tank. But the gun breech absorbs just so much, as we will see later on, or right now actually. It can take a beating. It is more in the region of what the English main battle tanks try to be, hull down monsters. It's a bit more alive in that aspect, at least when I played it. Yeah, you will lose here and there a crew member, and at some point your survivability is used up, and when a heli comes around, then good luck. But the tank just can take it at longer ranges. At shorter ranges, I found it surprisingly vulnerable. So yeah, there are no real side skirts, there are no nearer elements like you would expect from a tank that has a reputation of survivability. But that is just where it gets a bit trolly, because the turret has so much armor elements and is so much angled. It looks voluminous, it looks big, and when you hit it, you just hit the part where armor is stacked upon armor, and that's the turret. If your gun breech is hit, it's taken out, but again, it will absorb most of the splinters, and it's also not very likely that an HE shell on just in the shot trap, because it's a significant shot trap, will just do a blow up scenario. Didn't happen to me so far, and also when using the protection analysis, I found it particularly pixel intense to figure out how to blow it up, and it just didn't happen. And just look what the tank can take at range, and those are a lot of Leopard 2s that try to shoot me up, potentially some 2A6s I've met, and if they would aim for the hull, I'd be significantly more vulnerable. So this is like a reverse Leopard 2A6 when it comes to the layout of the engine and the transmission being then in the front, and so is the hull, relatively speaking, soft. So this is not a Soviet MBT, which versus stock tanks is not that nice to take out, right? Because of all the protection when it comes from the various different era elements, etc. But this tank, I survived sometimes so much, and maybe it's just because people have no experience fighting this particular tank. But it's, for me personally, tankier than any of the reward tanks that we have seen in the American tech tree, and also the premium. So I like this tank, but it's top tier, and I'm just not a fan of night battles and getting ruffle-stomped by helicopters. So it's a nice tank. It's definitely not weak. I don't know, I probably would give it an 8 out of 10, but that's just my opinion. I need to get a more experience with it. So far, that's it for me today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. As usual, you know how to like and subscribe and share this with your clanmates, your friends, and whoever you can annoy with the links. And as usual, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we'll see each other on the waves, in the skies, and on the battlefields of War Thunder.